Right. Obviously, it was a good win for our program. Thought our guys played hard and physical, and obviously that's an identity that we want for our program, and we demand from our guys. As you evaluate our offense, I thought we played well. We weren't dominant versus, as I said, a really good Pitt defense, but we played well. I know we all expect to be dominant, and our offensive staff and our players. But they were gritty in the run game. Other than the one long touchdown Jeremiah had, I thought they had to fight and claw and scratch for every yard running the ball, and we knew that was a defense that prevents you from running the ball. So I was glad to see them do that and was explosive in the pass game. Made some contested catches in terms of that's what we needed. Obviously we can't turn the ball over and give up 10 points. But, as I told CJ last night in our meeting, is you can't let those two plays deter you or our offense from the really, really good things that he did. He does a lot of things that probably to the normal observer you don't notice. He is really just doing things that are well beyond a guy with his experience level has done in the past, and it's just a credit to his preparation and the way he prepares and understands the game, and he's doing some really good things. But yeah, he knows he can't turn the ball over, and we'll continue to go to work to correct those things. But I think as a whole for the offense, we just got to continue to understand situational football in terms of gritty yards, pass protection angles, like different things like that. Like we keep talking about situational football is something that we all have to continue to elevate in. As far as for the defense, I thought they played lights out. I really did. And, they did a good job stopping the run, limiting the pass game, getting pressure and sacks on the quarterback, and really executing at a high level. They scored twice on defense and really didn't give up a touchdown to the last play of the game. And, as I told the staff yesterday, and I'll tell the players today when we meet, like that last TD is our fault. And so it's not Coach Narduzzi's fault for calling the timeout. It's not the ref's fault for throwing penalties. We had plenty of opportunities to execute on that last series in the game, and we didn't. And so we have to embrace that and not use a crutch of they shouldn't have called a timeout or they shouldn't have threw penalties, because then you don't own the fact that you control the outcome of that game, and we need to make sure our guys understand that and own it and work to improve. And so, on special teams, I thought it was solid overall, really was. I thought our kickoff return unit was outstanding, but I got frustrated with the one kickoff. We can't let them have a big return versus our kickoff unit. That's unacceptable. And, we attempted one field goal, didn't make it. And so we got to continue to look at our process, evaluate it, how do we improve it. We are improving in that situation, and we just got to continue to work what we're doing and enhance it, right? Enhance it and find a way to make it better, and I'm confident we will. And so, because we need to, we have to be able to have the confidence to kick field goals and make those field goals. And so we got to get back to work on that. Obviously, we got a great opportunity in front of us on Saturday. As we honor our seniors before we get ready to play Syracuse. Syracuse is coming off a bye week. I think as you look at their season, they're decimated with injuries. Their record, I don't think it reflects the culture of that team. And, I've gotten to know Fran just through a couple award shows or things that we were at. And, got a lot of respect for him and how he leads, and to go 10-3 in your first year. And they started this year 3-1 before a lot of major injuries. Obviously Steve Angeli, but a lot of others. And so he's a competitive guy. I'm sure his team is is molded after, and they'll be ready to play their best on Saturday, and so do we. And so looking forward to the opportunity. So with that, I'll open up for questions.
Front row on the left, Tyler Horka.
Coach, y'all have been really good during your tenure on senior day. What goes into compartmentalizing, honoring those guys, but trying to make it as normal as a week as possible so you can do what you do on Saturday?
Yeah. We do some things during the week to honor them as a team. And, obviously we honor them as they run out Saturday before the game. But we always remind them they have to be able to, because it's an emotional moment as you run. I remember my senior, you run out there for what it could be your last time in Notre Dame Stadium. But after you see your families and you get back to that sideline, you have to flip the switch back to competition mode. And it's something that you have to be proactive about as a coach to warn them and remind them, and then they got to do it. But I think it's more important to honor them the right way for what they've done for our program, how they've left this program better than they found it, and I think that's important to honor those guys.
You mentioned Steve. Obviously, he won't be playing in this game, but assuming he makes the trip, what would that be like to maybe see him before the game, whenever it is, considering all he did for this program while he was here?
If he makes his trip, I would love to see him. This game's bigger. I know we're evaluated on wins and losses, but for me, in my position, it's about people, and it's about helping young people ultimately have success, right, on and off the field. And Steve is a guy that gave everything he's gotten to this place when he was here. And I am, like I told him when he decided to leave, that the relationship between a coach and a player doesn't stop once you're gone. I'm always supporting him. I was so happy when I found out he was named starter and watched him do some successful things. And I reached out to him when he got hurt, and so would love to see him and just hug him, right? Just to, because you care about him. And I hope he's able to make the trip.
On the right, Tim Priester.
Coach, because of the way the game is covered these days, we're privy to a lot of your motivational speeches to your team. How do you keep that fresh but real? How do you keep the message informative without overloading them with information?
I think a lot of things that I say to our players in those moments before the game are similar. Like, the message is still the same. We have to have clarity of purpose in terms of what we have to do. And, how I say that, I can mess around with a little bit. It could be in the moment, but it's also about the opponent and how can we, address this opportunity that we have. It could be an away game. It could be a home game. It could be senior night. And you wrap that around the core of what you always say is that it's about clarity of purpose, so win the interval, and it's about understanding that this isn't about you, it's about team glory, and we have to submit individual glory to team glory in this moment. So that's probably a longer answer than you're asking, but it's just there's still the core of your messages that you tell them before the game don't change.
Human nature being human nature. I mean, you got your last two opponents are a combined 6 and 14, so I'm sure you've been giving some thought as to how you keep that message on point and make sure they understand, what can happen on any given day.
Yeah, I think, one is our guys watch the film, and the more you watch, like, every opponent, man, it's like these guys are good. They're good. I don't care what their record says. They're a good football team. You keep the lessons you've learned from the past, right? In terms of, if you don't believe you can be beaten by anybody, we can remind you what happened in the past. And so if you respect that opportunity, right? If you respect the opportunity that we have on Saturday and understand how great of an opportunity it is, you'll value the moments that you have now. You'll value what you have right in front of you and work and do the things it takes to grasp that opportunity that you have Saturday night. And so those are the things that I'll remind them. Every test, as we continue to move forward, will be tougher, every one. And it's not always the record of the opponent, but there's also the added human element of the outside noise of playoffs, the outside noise of maybe this team's record isn't that, like that's a challenge, right? That's why I say each test as we go forward is a greater challenge, because you add that into the mix in as much as I can tell them, control the noise that goes into your head. Like there's enough of it that they might hear some of it. And so it's my job to make sure that the noise I'm putting in their heads or we're putting in their heads are the loudest ones, and that it's the thought after the thought. You've heard me say that before, right? We're all human. But if we understand that the purpose is bigger than ourselves, we'll choose to have the right thought after that thought.
In the back, Talia Baya.
Hey, Coach. So on the defensive side of the ball, Joshua Burnham and Tay have really stepped up this season. From your perspective, what's been clicking for them, and how have you seen them improve in their development?
You said Josh Burnham and who?
Tay Johnson.
Oh, Tay. Okay. Yeah, like obviously Joshua is healthy. I think that was some of the things early in the season that prevented him from playing at the level he's playing at now. But he's playing as consistent. He's always been a hard, high effort guy. Like he plays the game with effort, but we had to get him healthy. And now you're seeing him have the statistics and the performances that come along with practicing at a high level and, playing with that high effort. And he's doing some really good things. Tay-Tay's just, I've always said how athletic he is, but he's now continuing to add that with work and understanding concepts. And now, when you can anticipate things, that's when some of the success comes, right? Your intercept, he's anticipating, we're in zone coverage here. He's anticipating that quarterback looking there and went and picked it off. And so he's just continuing to get better. He is. And he's putting in the work too. He's starting to, you get those rewards, it becomes a little contagious. Like I want this. Like I want to get it again. So you got to remind them, in order to put yourself in that position, you got to put in the work.
And a little similar to Tim's question, but once again, this isn't the strongest record team. Last time you played Boston College 1-8, and it wasn't exactly a fireworks show. How do you keep your guys locked in on the sidelines when they're kind of a little slow?
I got lost after you said fireworks show. What was the last part of that?
How do you keep your guys locked in during the game on the sidelines when they're not performing at their highest standard?
I don't think that's a distraction when you're, it's probably when you're playing really well. That's how you got to try to keep them not distracted. These guys, they want to win. They want to be perfect. They want to be the best. And so if they're not playing well, they're ultra, coach, what am I doing wrong? Or they know what they're doing wrong, and they want to get back out there and do it again. But, I said it, we got a great opportunity in front of us. And so we can't worry about the fireworks of last time we played Boston College or anything else. We got to worry about, if we understand this is a great opportunity in front of us, we'll value this moment that we have right now. We'll work unbelievable hard and struggle the way you have to if you want to improve. And then when we get to Saturday, we got to win that first play, and then the next play after that. And then we'll see what the result of that is.
Front row, John Brace.
Hey, Marcus. You've referenced a few times over the course of this season your Sunday evening meetings with C.J. Carr. What do you like about those, and what benefit do they maybe provide for you?
Yeah, I've often said I doubt it anybody else that emulates or understands what the position of the head coach at Notre Dame is than the starting quarterback at Notre Dame. And so I've kind of made it a habit of mine to meet with the starting quarterback. During the season, we meet on Sundays. It's for me, I like that time. We're intentional about it. Because we talk about the game, we talk about life, we talk about family. It gives me a chance to just talk to somebody, My wife's a lot of times she sleep when I get home, so I don't have anybody to talk to sometimes, and that's what I enjoy about it. I get more out of it. Probably CJ probably goes, I got to meet with Coach Freeman again. What he's going to ask me, and I get more out of it selfishly than probably the quarterbacks do. But it's the same thing when I meet with Kenny. I always leave my meeting with Kenny and CJ just filled. Like I feel better. Like they help me feel better because I gain wisdom from them. I do. Like it is more beneficial. I know it is for me than probably them, but it's important for me to be intentional about putting that time on my schedule, because if I don't, it'll get eaten up. It'll get eaten up, and so it's important to me to have that intentional time with those guys.
Speaking of being fulfilled, we've seen you kind of be the man in the arena, leading the team out of the tunnel, emotional when you have to be. This is your 4th senior day as a head coach, 5th here at Notre Dame. How have you learned to manage your emotions through the years on senior day?
Yeah, I gotta do the things I tell our players to do, right? And a lot of times, maybe Tim asked about the message before the game. A lot of times, as I say something to our program or to our players, I'm reminding myself. The things I challenge our players to do, it's not only just telling them to do something, it reminds myself that, hey, the same things you're telling your players, you got to do yourself. And that the way to get your emotions back under control is going to be important for me. When I think about our seniors, like it makes me emotional at times, because, you just watch these young people grow up. They leave here as men, and you've watched them grow. I mean, you watch them improve. You watch them learn life lessons, and so, they're just like your own children. And this will be the last guaranteed time that they play in Notre Dame Stadium, and so you're just thankful. I'm grateful for them, and I'm thankful to be on this journey with them.
Second row on the left, Tyler James.
Marcus, James Flanagan got in some meaningful moments the other day. What's the importance of him being able to help with that tight end room, and how did you feel like he played? Man,
you talk about a guy that's improving. Oh, man, like he is improved. We knew Flanny had some, he's got really unique skill set. He's a tough guy, physical guy, but now he's like understanding how to control that toughness and physicality and not just be a young bull in a china shop, right? I know that's like coaches speak, but like he's understanding technique and angles and details, and he played as well as any freshman in that Pitt game. And he played really, really well. And so we got only one game to play him in these last 2. We owe it to him, right? And always say we got to do things that are best for the team, but we also, when we can, we want to do what's best for the player too. And we don't want to use, his red shirt on just one extra game. And so we got to decide which game that will be. But he is definitely helping us.
And then with what he's able to do, how much does that help what you guys can do with Eli and the ability to move him around? And then obviously you guys got Eli the ball a lot on Saturday.
Yeah, it helps tremendously, in terms of the run game and the pass game. Giving Eli a spell, utilizing 2 tight ends, obviously Ty helping us too. It helps our offense holistically when you can add James Flanagan to the mix in terms of what we can do for Eli and how we could utilize him, keep him fresh, or use him in different positions, and have confidence that tight end that's in the game that isn't Eli is getting their job done.
Front row on the right, Eric Hansen.
Hey, Coach. Fans like to talk about style points. You like to talk about a team that's constantly improving and reaching its full potential. So let's look at your model. What does that need to look like in the next couple of weeks?
I don't know if I can describe that with an outcome, like a number. I know that I always look at, undisciplined penalties. I look at MAs. Every week I want to know, like, what are the mental, I call them MAs, missed assignments or mental errors, where he should know exactly what he's supposed to do and for some reason doesn't get it done on this play. Execution errors are one thing, but when you have a mental error, like we can't, that's unacceptable. We got to make sure we improve on that. I look at the battle of field position and making sure we win the field position battle. I look at the turnover margin. And so those are areas that I look at to say, okay, are we continuing to be disciplined, improving? Like that, but what does that mean in terms of the score of a game? I couldn't tell you. I just know that there's been times that we've won big and you're like, oof, we didn't truly play at the level that I would aspire our group to play at. There's been times we might have lost or won close that a player or two dictated the score, but we are improving. So that's the thing I evaluate is take out the score. I know the score does reflect it sometimes, a lot of times, but I'm evaluating each play more than anything.
And then with Eric Schmidt on Saturday, after missing the field goal but making everything else, how do you feel like he came out of that game? And were you tempted late in the game to maybe try a 42-yarder instead of going for it late in the game?
Yeah, it was under consideration multiple times, even after he missed it. But we had a number. Hey, where's the ball at? What's the first down marker? What's the number that we're either going to go for it, the yardage that we're going to go for it, or we would kick it? And I always communicate that with Coach Denbrock and say, hey, 3 or 4 or 5's a go in this situation. And so we just kept putting the ball in a situation where we were going to go for it, just using the analytics, using my gut. But it wasn't that I wasn't willing to kick him. We just got to, as you look at that kick, there's answers why it happened, but how are we going to have a routine to fix it? Right? I know I don't love to look at just results, but I don't know how to kick a field goal. Right? I don't know the exact technique. Coach Biaggi does and Eric does, and let's just make sure we're consistently using that technique so that ball goes through the uprights. And so I haven't lost confidence in him, but we got to keep getting better, and we got to be better in practice. I'm going to evaluate the results in practice, right, and as we get ready to go into the game.
Front row on the left, Jack Sobel.
Coach, you talk about scratching and clawing for every yard in the run game. That's kind of what you had to do in every game since USC. With the way teams have been defending you, one would think you'll continue to get those looks moving forward. So have you seen offensive line, running backs, even Coach Denbrock adjust and get better against that kind of defense?
Yeah, I like your shirt. It's an ESQ, huh? Looks good. We know teams are going to not just allow us to just run the ball, right? They're going to do things to stack the box, to do things to, prevent us from trying to run the ball. But we got to keep finding ways through formations, through concepts, right? They might be stopping us running this zone scheme, but maybe we're going to go outside, or maybe we're going to run some gap scheme. And we got to do it through having success in the air. But all those different things are going to contribute to the ability to run the ball, because we still have to be able to run the ball. That's who we are. I keep saying O-line, D-line driven. We have to be able to run the ball. And how we get to that, though, can change depending on what the defense does.
And defensively, I think Saturday was the first time that all 5 starting defensive backs started and then finished the game healthy. The results kind of speak for themselves, but what did you see from that group on film, and how did Christian Gray look after getting 3 weeks to heal?
He played the way we expect Christian Gray to play. You can tell he's different when he's healthy. He's a different football player, and he showed that on Saturday. He showed that in practice, and he came out the game feeling great. And so we got to continue to make sure we keep him healthy if we can at all possible. But as you said, it was I think between Smitty, Devontae, Christian, and Leonard, I think that might have been like the 3rd game they've all started. I think that's the number, but or started and finished the game maybe. But they're playing at a high level, like they really are. Don's playing lights out. I mean, he played really, really well, and even Luke, when he came in, was playing well. So we got to keep them healthy. And if they're not, guess what? The expectations for those guys that come in, Dallas Gold and Mark Zachary, some of those young guys, is exactly where it's at for the guys that are starters. And they know that, and they're working while they wait for their opportunity. Like, they're not waiting, they're working. And so if they have to go in the game, I'm confident he'll do a good job.
Back row, Sean Stiers.
Right here, yep. You kind of went into some graphic detail on Jaden Greathouse's injury last week. He's back on the questionable list again this week. I'm curious where you are in the season, 2 games to go, and then, whatever happens in December. Is there discussion about, just shut it down and play for next month?
Yeah, like we had a discussion recently, and just that it's very similar to what I just said about James Flanagan. And it's taken him longer than we thought to get healthy, but he's probably he's close to being healthy right now as he's been. But, is it right for him is it right for us to make, him play these last 2 games and cost him a year if we can get away with saving him a whole year by not playing these last 2 games? And so right now that's our mindset, is if we don't have to play him this week, let's try not to. He'll be ready, but we're going to try to hold off on playing him in hopes of being able to redshirt him for this year and get him, if we play beyond Stanford, then he'll be ready to go.
And then with Rubio, he's obviously been out, I think it's like 5 weeks or so since his injury. It sounds like his elbow is not necessarily a simple one. Is maybe, is it the long-term hope with him as well, potentially?
Yeah, if we I mean, you got me talking about things that are uncertain right now, but if we are able to be in postseason play, we expect Gabe Rubio to be back for that.
Same row, Drew Mentok.
You mentioned in the opening how CJ does things that are beyond his experience level, but people might not readily see. What are some examples from against Pitt that you think stood out in that regard? Just run game checks, pass game checks, there was something that they did defensively that we never game planned for, and he was able to make a check that we never practiced. It's something as simple as being able to say, hey, the play call told you to do this, but because they're showing you this look that wouldn't be good for it, just hand the ball off and let them run the ball. Like, those are things that, most people are going to be like, okay, coach told me exactly this is what I want you to do. Throw the ball to that guy right there. And if somebody's there, they would probably maybe throw it away or, I don't know, make a bad decision. But he put our offense in a great position. And I'm just thinking this one particular play by saying, hey, I know he's taking that away. Let me just hand the ball. And we've never, because they've never shown to give us this look versus this formation. And, like, there's plays like that it's just like he's like another coach out there. He's seeing things and putting our offense in a position to have success, and you're not even telling them. You're not even telling them, And so that shows you what level of football he's really seeing it and playing at right now.
Third row on the left, Pete Byrne.
Hey, Marcus. You mentioned right at the beginning kind of the physical nature of the way you guys played Saturday and how that's starting to become your identity. I'm wondering how you foster that. For some guys, it's very second nature, and for other guys, it's not. But how do you get all 11 guys at one time to be willing to do that and able to do that when they're not all wired that way?
Yeah, I don't want it to become our identity. I want this to be our identity. And as I've told the team, like, there is a standard and a style of play that is demanded. And some guys naturally will do it. That's just who they are. And some guys have to choose to do it. And when you don't choose to do it, there's repercussions. Either you're going to be held accountable and coached hard and to fix it, or you're going to be taken out of the game. And that's how you get them to play the way you want them to play. Like this, it is a choice to play the game with physicality. It's a choice to play the game through the whistle, like all-out effort. But in order for them to understand what you want, you got to show them, you got to demand it, and if they don't do it to the standard, you got to have repercussions for it. Repercussion might be just being called out in a meeting, right, or corrected or coached. But if you allow it, then it becomes a new standard. Like, if you allow this style of play that you don't believe is up to your standard, then that just becomes a new standard, the way your guys can play. So we have to have a high standard. It's got to be very clear to our players what we're looking at and looking for, and you have to hold them accountable to that standard.
Then, over your tenure here, you guys have had a run of very young DBs that have played important minutes and played really well. And obviously, sometimes a guy like Leonard or a Morrison are really talented. But what goes into getting a guy that young ready to be able to play at a position like that?
You know, I think one starts with, you mentioned some guys that are, I think BMO was a second-round pick, right? I think he was second round. And Leonard is one of the best that Coach Mickens, his coach. You know, Kyle Hamilton is one of the best that I've been around. I think of Sauce Gardner. I'm thinking guys that came in and started sometime during their freshman year. Like, some guys have just great talent, but also they're coachable. They understand technique. They're quick learners. Sometimes guys take a little bit longer. You know, you look at a guy like Xavier Watts that changed positions his freshman year and then played a little bit the next year. Then his third year, I think, was the first year starting maybe, and then developed into the player he is now. And so I think everyone's different, right? But in order to play as a freshman, you got to be one to be talented, but two, you got to be a quick learner, have good instincts, as you see with like Mark Zachary, right? We're not putting him out there if he's not good enough, you know. And I know he went through his growing pains early in the year, but I mean, he's out there for a reason because we have a lot of confidence he'll get his job done.
That's all the time we have for today. Thanks, Coach.
All right. Thank you. Have a good one.